Welcome back to Simply Scratch Kitchen. If you're new here, my name is Hannah, and it has been a minute since I made a video. After my last video, I think I mentioned that I was getting sick, and I have been sick ever since. So I wanted to come back with a good video for you guys since it's been a little while. And I was thinking about some of the past videos I've done that y'all have liked and how I can make them a little bit better. And the one idea that came to mind was I thought I'm gonna go to my Dollar Tree and still do that kind of extreme budget, $15, $16 for 3 meals, and see what the healthiest meals I can make are from the Dollar Tree, so that if you're ever in a pinch and you really need high quality food, is it possible to get that from the Dollar Tree? What I want to focus on is getting the most whole foods there that I can. And I know it's not going to be easy, but we're going to do the best we can in case you are ever in a pinch and still want to eat something really healthy. Let's see if we can do it from the Dollar Tree. As much as I wanted to make like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there just were not any good breakfast options. They just had like granola bars and cereal, and I didn't feel like that really fit the parameters for my video. And so what I've made instead are 2 really large, bulky, delicious dinners. They would be enough to last 1 or 2 people for an entire week. So I'm going to share those recipes with you now. For our first meal, we're going to make this really savory lentil stew. Doesn't look like much, but I'm going to show you how to make it so flavorful. We're going to start with, of course, our bag of lentils, a bag of jasmine rice, a jar of diced tomatoes, a can of chicken broth, and this package of frozen seasoning blend that has onion, celery, and peppers in it. I'm starting by getting some oil, or in my case butter, melted in the bottom of my pot. And I will warn you, you probably want to use one of your biggest pots for this recipe because it made a ton of food. I'm adding this frozen seasoning blend in here and just letting that cover and cook for a minute to thaw. And then we're going to cook these until they are sauteed. There's quite a bit of water in this, so you want to cook all of the water out and then keep cooking until they're browned. I also got my lentils rinsed while I was waiting on this to cook and just have them nearby for when these vegetables start getting brown. You want to brown these because it's going to give them a lot of really sweet flavor that's going to really amp up the flavor of our lentils. So I'm going to add in my lentils once those are nice and brown, and then I'm going to follow it up with that can of diced tomatoes. Be sure to leave that juice in your tomatoes for extra flavor, and then add your can of chicken broth. I combined this well and then started with about 4 cups of water, but lentils eat up a lot of liquid, so I ended up adding about another 4 cups over the duration of the cook time. I added just salt and pepper to this, but you can add whatever you want. You can do some onion or garlic, or you could even add curry powder to give this more of an Indian flavor to it. And then I just covered these, cooked them for about 30 minutes, checked in, added some more water, and then about another 20 minutes. So they cooked for about 50 minutes total. And you can decide how much water you want in these, how much you want to cook them down, how mushy you want your lentils. I like mine pretty soft, so I did the 50 minutes. And then I just cooked up my rice so that when these are done, I could ladle them on top. You could also cook the rice in with this if you want just a good 1-pot meal. This made a ton of food, and so again, I just scooped these over my rice and served them that way. You could even serve this with some Cajun seasoning on top if you wanted more of like a jambalaya flavor as well. That would be really good. You have to try this recipe because it's so satisfying and flavorful and rich and very filling. It has so much fiber and protein in it. Rice and lentils together make a complete protein, so you will feel very satisfied and nourished and have tons of leftovers to eat on all week. For our next meal, we're going to make this really delicious chicken pineapple stir fry. We're going to start with, again, a bag from the frozen section of this California blend. They also had just plain broccoli if you would prefer to use just broccoli, but I think this mixture was really nice for the stir fry. I'm cooking this up in some butter, and as it cooks, I'm just breaking it up into smaller chunks because these were pretty big pieces. While this is cooking down, I'm going to go ahead and cook up my rice. You'll notice we're using rice in both of these meals, but it was pretty hard to find a good healthy carbohydrate at the Dollar Tree, and this rice was really the best option that they had, but we're going to use it in very different ways for very different flavor profiles. Once these have been sauteed, we're going to use 2 cans of the white canned chicken from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to drain the liquid out of those and then saute it along with the rest of our vegetables. I let that get a quick sear on it and combine it with my vegetables. And then the last thing we're going to add to this is a can of pineapple chunks. And they have a lot of different sauces at the Dollar Tree that you could use if you wanted to use those for stir fry. But again, I'm trying to just use whole foods here. So we are going to use the pineapple juice and the pineapple, and we're going to simmer that down until that pineapple juice turns into kind of a thick caramelized sauce. When you add your pineapple juice, be sure to just sort of scrape the bottom of your pan and get all of that flavor deglazed from the bottom. And then I'm going to let this simmer for about 7 minutes until that pineapple juice starts cooking down. It'll start to thicken up and flavor all the rest of the food in your skillet. I did salt and pepper in this, and you'll probably need quite a bit of salt because we're going to be adding so much rice to the skillet, and it needs to be flavored as well. And then once my rice is cooked, I'm just adding it straight to the skillet. We're going to cook the rice and the veggies and chicken and pineapple all together because you really want that juice to coat all of your rice. Don't be afraid of there being quite a bit of juice in your pan because you want to use it like a sauce and really coat all of your rice. Be sure to taste it and make sure you don't need some more salt because that's going to add a lot of flavor to this as well. If you have it and like it, some red pepper flakes would be really good on this if you want a little bit more of a spicy kick. If you have soy sauce or coconut aminos, that would really add another level of flavor to this as well. But really just cooking that pineapple together with the meat on a high temperature is going to give it a lot of flavor. And I started off using just a portion of this can and decided to go ahead and just use the whole can in here so that we would have a lot of that good sweet pineapple flavor. Be sure to use your biggest skillet with this recipe too because it made so much food. I was making a mess all over my stove. This is a huge bowl and a really large filling portion, and I still had all of this left in my skillet. So again, this is going to feed several people or a couple people for several days. If you like these types of videos, be sure to subscribe and follow along so you don't miss more budget cooking videos here on Simply Scratch Kitchen. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.